welcome to our School at Home class in English 7. We are in the fourth quarter of our sets of lessons, and I hope everybody will be delighted in learning today's lesson, lesson number 7. Discover literature is a tool to assert one's unique identity and to better understand people. Rules for using the internet safely. I will only visit websites suitable for children my age. I will be polite and show respect when communicating with others. I will keep my personal information secret, including passwords. I will report any unpleasant messages or inappropriate websites to a member of the staff. Motivation. Identify our writers and famous national heroes in the picture beside. Type your answers on the chat box. After 10 seconds, answers will reveal. Motivation answers. Number 1. Dr. Jose P. Rizal. Number 2. Marcelo H. Del Pilar. Number 3. Graciano Lopez Jaina. Expectation. This is your self-instructional learner video in English 7. All the activities provided in this lesson will help you learn and understand, discover literature as a tool to assert one's unique identity and to better understand people. Specifically, you will learn about the following. 1. Assert and appreciate one's unique identity in reading literature. 2. Discover ways on how reading could be used to better understand people. Pre-test. Matching type. Match each of the name of the famous writer in column 1 to his masterpiece in column 2. Write the letter only. The famous Filipino authors and their masterpieces. Column 1. Number 1. Ibong Adarna. Number 2. Florante at Laura. Number 3. Nolumetang Here. Number 4. Kaigat Kayo. Number 5. Kapre. Pretest answered. Number 1. Letter E. Number 2. Letter B. Number 3. Letter C. Number 4. Letter D. Number 5, letter A. Lesson. Setting the mood. Complete the organizer with words and or pictures that indicate or symbolize the unique identity of Filipinos. Include a short explanation on whatever you put in each box. An example is given. You can add more boxes if you want to. My unique Filipino identity. Answers may vary. Discovering literature. Young adult literature has long been criticized for being too dark. It's true that many authors choose to write about difficult topics. Violence, abuse, and trauma are never easy to stomach in literature or in life. And yet, if you talk to adults who actually work with teens, you soon learn that there are plenty of young people living the very situations we see depicted in Philippine literature. Young people like you deserve stories that tell the truth about human experiences. Literature can show us how ordinary people cope in the face of struggle and pain. The resiliency of a Filipino. The secret to Filipino resilience. Despite enduring many upheavals, the people of the Philippines have always overcome them through faith and music. By Joseph Peter Calleja, Manila. Updated May 26, 2020. 3 months have passed since the Philippines implemented strict community quarantines across the archipelago. With no mass testing in place, many still fear the coronavirus will spread, threatening thousands of workers who risk their lives to earn a living. The healthcare system will be on the brink of collapse once a fraction of its employees are infected by the virus. Reports say thousands of overseas Filipino workers have used up their savings to pay for their quarantine facilities, while some are still on cruise ships docked in Philippine ports. A month ago, a repatriated overseas worker hung herself while undergoing a 14-day quarantine in a state facility. A few days ago, another jumped off a building in Beirut, Lebanon. The pandemic has not only caused poverty, but also psychological distress. Yet, what sustains the Filipino people, especially those in the slums with almost nothing to eat? What inspires a country to thrive, even when its future is uncertain? In World War II, bombs shattered the country. Our homes and churches were ruined, but the war never destroyed our faith as a people. Jesuit historian Father Horacio de la Costa compared the war-torn Philippines to a pauper with two precious jewels. He wrote in his essay, Jewels of the Pauper, that the Philippines has two great treasures, faith and music. Open quote. But as poor as we are, we yet have something. This pauper among the nations of the earth hides two jewels in her rags. One of them is our music. The other treasure is our faith. Close quote. Wrote the Jesuit historian. We Filipinos love music. Our tunes soar higher than the numbers of lives taken by the pandemic. The present situation has not prevented choirs and musicians from coming together through technology to perform astonishing compositions. We sing karaoke behind closed doors. We even resort to social media by dancing to the tune of TikTok music to express ourselves even when food and testing kits are scarce. Music soothes our aching souls. Our melodies not only distract our minds, already burdened by loss of a loved one or unemployment. Our music, rather, has become a powerful bringer of hope and good memories. It reminds us that things will get better and that one day we can visit our spent time with our loved ones again. Our hymns are not merely for entertainment. They are a stepping stone for prayer. Just our melodies are our expressions of faith. Faith gives meaning to all the sufferings we are facing right now as one nation. Churches may remain closed, but we have brought them inside our own homes. We are praying more than before. We are reflecting on the meaning of life and death more than before. Faith washes away our tears of grief and anxiety. It makes us see the needs of others, encouraging us to move beyond our comfort zones. It frees us from our individualistic tendencies. When we read and listen to stories like that of Mang Dodong, an old man who was imprisoned for not having a valid permit to earn a living, we do not simply see a legal issue. We rather see a broader sense of what social justice is about. Faith truly propels us to respond to the needs of the poor. Our country has faced more than a pandemic. We have survived wars, political and economic upheavals. Yet, we have always recovered and survived as a nation. This pandemic has opened our eyes to many great lessons in life. It has taught us to reassess the value of life itself, our health, and even the way we choose our leaders. Some may feel there is no more hope. But as we continue our battle with COVID-19, let us remember our two greatest jewels, our ultimate weapon in this pandemic. Faith and music bind our nation together. They are the soul that makes us one. They are the reason we will rise again as one. Comprehension questions. 1. What is the meaning of resilience? Is it learned or are you born with it? 2. What are the indications which can prove that Filipinos are resilient? 3. Cite incidents showing the weak response of some Filipinos to psychological distress, depression, and anxiety, which are mentioned in the article. What could you advise to people undergoing psychological distress? 4. What are the two great treasures of the Philippines according to Father Horacio de la Costa? How does each of the jewel inspire our country to thrive, even when its future is uncertain? 5. What important lessons did you learn from the article? Answer may vary. Activity. Activity number 1. How resilient are you? For each statement, encircle the letter that best describes you. Try to answer questions as you are, rather than as you think you should be. And don't worry if some questions seem to score in the wrong direction. When you are finished, check the equivalent of your score in the list, calculate my total at the bottom of the test, and take a look at the advice that follow. Activity number 2. Fill the table with necessary information from the selection indicating the effects of faith and music as ultimate weapon of the Filipinos in the pandemic. The two great treasures of the Philippines. First column, faith. Second column, music. Answers in activity number 2. The two great treasures of the Philippines. Activity number 3. Quote me. What I have to say about resiliency. Activity number 3. Answers may vary. Wrap up. Strengths are the things you are good at. Challenges are the things you need to work on. Write your strengths in the right side of the human figure and weaknesses on the left side. Wrap up. How can I use my strengths to unleash my potentials? How can I use my weaknesses to my advantage? Wrap up activity 1 and activity number 2. Answers may vary. Valuing. The human capacity for burden is like bamboo, far more flexible than you'd ever believe at first glance. Judy Picoult. Post-test. Encircle the letter of the best answer only. Number 1. Which of the following is not true about the Filipino identity? A. Filipinos take pride in their family. B. Filipinos are very religious. C. Filipinos are not proud of their race. D. Filipinos' compassion is reflected in their collective spirit of volunteerism. 2. Why do we need to learn how to understand other people better? A. To help us function better and achieve more. B. To respond appropriately to situations in life. C. To keep our life safe and in some ways in control against fraud and danger. D. All of the above. Post-test answers. Closure. Homeschool work for today. Worksheets in lesson number 7. Discovering literature as a tool to assert one's unique identity and to better understand people. English 7 4th quarter. After viewing and listening to this video lesson, do not forget to do these exercises as your homeschool work for today. Worksheet number 7. English 7 4th quarter. Good day and see you in the next grade level.